Welcome back, everyone. Today, we set our sights on the vast Pacific Ocean, an endless blue expanse that holds secrets far beyond our imagination. While most of us are familiar with the Bermuda Triangle, the infamous stretch of sea in the Atlantic where ships and planes reportedly vanish, fewer have heard of its lesser-known twin on the other side of the world. Off the southeastern coast of Japan lies a place that has puzzled sailors, mystified researchers, and sparked countless legends. This place is called the Dragon's Triangle. At first glance, the waters around Japan look like any other part of the Pacific. Fishermen cast their nets, cargo ships sail to distant ports, and airplanes fly smoothly overhead. But hidden within this seemingly ordinary region is an area with a reputation that goes back centuries. The Dragon's Triangle, sometimes referred to as the Pacific Bermuda Triangle, stretches roughly between Japan's Izu Islands and the Bonin Islands, extending out toward Guam. It is here, according to old records and modern reports alike, that vessels vanish, aircraft fail to return, and compasses spin wildly out of control. For the Japanese, the mystery of the Dragon's Triangle is not a modern invention. Historical documents describe the waters as treacherous, warning sailors to avoid them whenever possible. Some old maps even label the area as dangerous or cursed, linking it to tales of dragons and sea demons that could swallow ships whole. Whether these accounts were metaphorical descriptions of rough seas or literal warnings believed by ancient sailors, they laid the foundation for the name we use today. In the 20th century, the Dragon's Triangle began to draw comparisons with its Atlantic counterpart. Reports emerged of fishing boats that never returned, cargo ships that simply vanished without sending a distress signal, and pilots who lost contact mid-flight. While skeptics point out that the Pacific Ocean is vast and naturally hazardous, others believe there may be unexplained forces at work. The parallels with the Bermuda Triangle disappearances, strange phenomena, and an enduring air of mystery are hard to ignore. But what makes this region truly fascinating is not just the stories of loss. It is the way those stories intertwine with both science and legend. Researchers have long speculated about possible explanations, ranging from magnetic anomalies to underwater volcanoes. Yet none can fully account for every report. Meanwhile, legends of dragons, spirits, and even visitors from beyond Earth continue to thrive in popular imagination. The Dragon's Triangle sits at the intersection of fact and folklore, science and mystery. So, why does this stretch of water carry such an ominous reputation? Is it merely a coincidence that ships and planes sometimes vanish in stormy seas? Or could there be deeper forces shaping the legend? Today, we will journey into the heart of the Pacific, exploring both the history and the mystery of the Dragon's Triangle, an enigmatic place where the ordinary ocean transforms into something extraordinary. When we talk about the Dragon's Triangle, one detail captures nearly everyone's imagination: the disappearances. Stories of ships that set out with experienced crews but never reached their destination, or aircraft that vanished from radar screens, fuel the region's mysterious reputation. These reports are not limited to distant history, they stretch across centuries and into the modern age, blending folklore with documented accounts. One of the earliest recorded vanishings dates back to Japan's own maritime chronicles. Sailors spoke of fleets swallowed by sudden storms, of ships that seemed to dissolve into the sea without a trace. Some believe these tragedies were caused by supernatural beings, dragons lurking beneath the waves, or spirits punishing those who dared to cross forbidden waters. While these stories may sound mythical, they echo real dangers of sailing in the Pacific, where weather can shift from calm to catastrophic in minutes. Fast forward to the 20th century, and the accounts take on a more modern tone. In the years leading up to and following World War II, several military vessels and aircraft reportedly disappeared in or near the Dragon's Triangle. Some were documented as being lost in combat, but others vanished without an obvious enemy or clear explanation. Cargo ships in the post-war decades were said to vanish in good weather, with no distress calls, no debris, and no survivors found. For families waiting at ports, these vanishings brought heartbreak and unanswered questions. Perhaps the most unsettling aspect is how ordinary many of these journeys seemed before disaster struck. Fishermen leaving for routine trips, small transport planes flying regular routes, or larger vessels traveling established shipping lanes, none expected to face anything beyond the usual challenges of the sea. Yet, the Dragon's Triangle developed a reputation as a place where routine voyages could turn into mysteries overnight. Adding to the intrigue are stories of pilots reporting strange conditions just before losing contact. Some accounts mention compasses that stopped working, while others describe sudden bursts of thick fog or bright lights that made navigation impossible. While these reports are difficult to verify, they contribute to the enduring image of the region as a zone where normal rules of physics seem to falter. Skeptics, of course, urge caution. They argue that the Pacific Ocean is vast and unpredictable, and that accidents are statistically bound to occur in any heavily traveled region. Strong currents, sudden squalls, volcanic activity, and even human error can explain many of these vanishings. And yet, the number of cases linked to this one particular stretch of water feels disproportionate, creating a mystery that continues to capture the world's attention. For many people, what makes the Dragon's Triangle so compelling is not just the disappearances themselves, but the lack of closure. When a plane crashes on land, investigators usually find wreckage. When a ship sinks near shore, divers may eventually recover evidence. But in the Dragon's Triangle, countless stories end in silence. No wreckage. No survivors. Just unanswered questions and grieving families left behind. This enduring uncertainty is what keeps the legend alive. The Dragon's Triangle is not simply a geographical location, it is a symbol of humanity's struggle against the unknown. Every vanishing adds another layer to the myth, turning the region into one of the most mysterious places on Earth. If vanishings gave the Dragon's Triangle its fearsome reputation, then the testimonies of those who survived its waters added a vivid layer of mystery. Over the years, sailors, fishermen, and even aviators have described bizarre conditions that defy ordinary explanation. Their stories often blur the line between natural danger and the uncanny, feeding the legend and ensuring that the triangle's mystery endures. One of the most frequently reported phenomena is the sudden appearance of violent storms. Witnesses speak of calm seas turning treacherous in the span of minutes, as though the sky itself had been waiting for the right moment to strike. Towering waves, accompanied by roaring winds, seem to rise from nowhere. Experienced captains, used to navigating the rough waters of the Pacific, admitted they had never encountered anything quite like it. Some storms appeared so localized that sailors compared them to traps, pockets of chaos hidden within otherwise navigable seas. Equally unsettling are the accounts of navigational failures. Compass needles spinning wildly, electronic instruments malfunctioning, and radios cutting out mid-transmission have all been reported in the region. To a modern traveler, these stories may sound exaggerated, but even today, magnetic disturbances in certain oceanic zones can confuse navigation systems. In the days before satellite technology, a compass was the lifeline of any voyage. To lose its reliability was to sail blind, a nightmare that could easily end in tragedy. There are also reports of strange visual phenomena. Fishermen have claimed to see flashes of light beneath the water, as though something massive were moving in the depths. Pilots have described sudden fog banks that swallowed their aircraft whole, cutting visibility to zero. Others recalled the sky itself behaving oddly, with unexplained lights hovering in the distance or streaking across the horizon. Whether these were natural electrical discharges, optical illusions, or something far stranger, they only deepened the sense of unease. One chilling tale often repeated in maritime circles is that of crews who returned shaken, unable to fully describe what they had encountered. These sailors spoke of hearing low rumbles that seemed to come from beneath the sea, of compasses pointing in impossible directions, or of feeling a sudden weight pressing down on their ships as though the ocean itself were pulling them under. While skeptics attribute these sensations to undersea volcanic activity or the stress of storms, the emotional impact on those who lived through them was undeniable. What makes these accounts particularly compelling is their consistency across time. From ancient mariners guided by the stars to modern pilots with advanced technology, the pattern is remarkably similar: sudden weather shifts, navigational chaos, and unexplained phenomena that push human endurance to the limit. It is as if the Dragon's Triangle has a personality of its own, unpredictable and unforgiving. Scientists suggest that many of these experiences may have rational explanations. The region is known for tectonic activity, including earthquakes and underwater volcanoes, which can cause sudden waves and localized magnetic disturbances. Strong ocean currents may also generate rogue waves, giant walls of water capable of swallowing ships in seconds. Fog banks are common in the Pacific, and flashes of light could easily be bioluminescent sea life or natural electrical activity. Yet, despite these logical possibilities, the persistence of extraordinary testimonies keeps the mystery alive. For those who have sailed or flown through the Triangle, the experience is unforgettable. Some swear never to return, convinced they brushed against forces beyond human understanding. Others emerge with stories that inspire caution, wonder, and even fear. It is this combination of danger and mystery that has secured the Dragon's Triangle a place in both scientific debate and cultural imagination. While legends and witness accounts paint the Dragon's Triangle as a realm of the supernatural, scientists have long attempted to explain its mysteries through natural causes. After all, the Pacific Ocean is one of the most dynamic environments on Earth. Beneath its surface lie shifting tectonic plates, powerful ocean currents, and volatile geological activity. Each of these factors can create conditions that, when combined, might easily be mistaken for the unexplainable. One of the most discussed scientific theories involves magnetic anomalies. Throughout history, sailors have reported compasses that spun uncontrollably or pointed in directions that made no sense. Such behavior could easily cause navigational errors, steering ships off course and into danger. Researchers suggest that the Dragon's Triangle may overlap with areas of the Earth's crust where magnetic fields are distorted by volcanic or tectonic activity. These anomalies can interfere not only with traditional compasses but, in extreme cases, with more modern navigational instruments as well. Ocean currents present another plausible explanation. The Pacific is home to some of the most powerful currents in the world, including the Kuroshio Current, often described as the Black Stream. Flowing past Japan, this current is fast, deep, and unpredictable. Vessels caught in its grip may be dragged far from their intended path, sometimes into dangerous waters where storms and waves are more likely to strike. If a ship disappears under such conditions, wreckage could be carried miles away, making it nearly impossible for search teams to locate. Adding to the complexity is the fact that the Dragon's Triangle lies in one of the most geologically active regions on Earth. Japan is part of the so-called Ring of Fire, a vast zone of seismic and volcanic activity encircling the Pacific. Beneath the Triangle's waters, Undersea volcanoes and shifting tectonic plates constantly reshape the seabed. Sudden eruptions or underwater earthquakes can trigger massive waves, violent turbulence, or even cause vessels to sink without warning. These same forces could also release methane gas from the ocean floor, creating pockets of instability that affect buoyancy. Ships entering such zones might lose stability and sink rapidly, leaving little to no trace. From the sky, the hazards are equally daunting. Pilots flying over the region often contend with sudden weather shifts caused by the collision of warm and cold air masses. These conditions can produce powerful thunderstorms, heavy fog, and turbulence strong enough to disable aircraft. Combined with possible magnetic interference, even well-trained pilots may find themselves in situations where technology offers little protection. Yet, despite these scientific theories, no single explanation accounts for all the reports. Magnetic anomalies can confuse navigation, but they cannot fully explain why entire vessels vanish without leaving debris. Ocean currents can scatter wreckage, but families still ask why no signals of distress were ever received. Volcanic activity may cause sudden disasters, but these events would likely be recorded on seismographs and studied in geological data. Each theory provides pieces of the puzzle, but the complete picture remains elusive. This is where the fascination lies. Science offers reasonable possibilities, yet mysteries persist. Could it be that multiple natural factors converge in this one region, making it uniquely dangerous? Or do the unexplained elements hint at something more? The Dragon's Triangle sits at the crossroads of human curiosity, a reminder that even in our age of satellites and advanced technology, parts of our world remain untamed and enigmatic. Ultimately, the scientific theories bring a sense of grounding to the legend. They remind us that the sea is vast, unpredictable, and filled with dangers we may not yet fully understand. At the same time, they leave just enough room for mystery to thrive, ensuring that the Dragon's Triangle continues to capture the imagination of explorers, researchers, and storytellers alike. When science reaches its limits, imagination often takes over. And in the case of the Dragon's Triangle, the gap between natural explanations and unanswered questions has fueled some of the most fascinating and speculative theories. Beyond magnetic anomalies or ocean currents, many people have looked to possibilities that lie outside the boundaries of conventional science: UFOs, interdimensional gateways, and forces not yet understood by humanity. The UFO connection is perhaps the most famous. Just as the Bermuda Triangle is often associated with mysterious lights in the sky, the Dragon's Triangle has its share of unexplained aerial phenomena. Fishermen and sailors have told stories of glowing orbs hovering above the waves, moving with speed and precision that no known aircraft could match. Some pilots have claimed to see streaks of light darting across the horizon before losing radio contact. For believers, these sightings point to the presence of unidentified flying objects, suggesting that the triangle may be more than just a geographical hazard. It could be a hotspot for extraterrestrial activity. Linked to this idea is the theory of underwater bases. According to speculation, the Dragon's Triangle may conceal advanced structures hidden beneath the ocean floor. These alleged bases, said to belong to extraterrestrial visitors, are thought to serve as entry points for UFOs traveling between sea and sky. Supporters of this idea often cite sonar anomalies and reports of strange shapes detected below the surface as potential evidence. Though mainstream science dismisses such claims as misreadings of natural formations, the mystery persists. Another theory ventures even further into the realm of the extraordinary: interdimensional travel. Some believe that the Dragon's Triangle may overlap with a vortex or portal that connects our world with another dimension. According to this perspective, ships and planes do not simply sink or crash, they slip into another reality entirely. This would explain why so many disappearances leave no wreckage or survivors. While such theories remain firmly in the realm of speculation, they highlight humanity's deep fascination with the unknown and our willingness to seek answers beyond what we can immediately see. These theories may sound fantastic, but they thrive because of the lack of closure in so many cases. When a vessel vanishes without evidence, it leaves room for endless possibilities. For grieving families and curious minds alike, the absence of answers invites questions that science cannot easily resolve. Could it be that the ocean conceals secrets we have yet to discover? Could forces beyond human understanding really shape events in certain corners of the earth? Popular culture has certainly embraced these ideas. Books, films, and documentaries often highlight the Dragon's Triangle not only as a natural mystery but as a gateway to something far larger. It is portrayed as a place where science, mythology, and imagination collide, a stage on which humanity confronts both its deepest fears and its greatest curiosities. Of course, skeptics argue that UFO and interdimensional theories are products of folklore and fantasy rather than evidence. They remind us that extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. And so far, no verifiable data has confirmed the existence of alien bases or interdimensional rifts. Yet the allure of these ideas persists, because they offer a narrative that science alone cannot provide, a narrative of wonder, danger, and possibility. Ultimately, whether one sees these theories as entertaining myths or potential truths, they add to the Dragon's Triangle's enduring legacy. They remind us that the unknown is not merely a scientific puzzle, it is also a canvas for human imagination. A place where our search for meaning takes on countless forms. Long before modern maps and satellite navigation, the seas around Japan were charted by experience, memory, and oral tradition. Fishermen, sailors, and coastal communities relied on generations of knowledge to guide their voyages, and within this tradition, the waters now known as the Dragon's Triangle already carried an ominous reputation. Ancient Japanese maps and folklore often marked this stretch of ocean not simply as dangerous, but as cursed, a place where spirits dwelled, where dragons lurked, and where travelers vanished without return. Some of the earliest references to this region describe it as a Ma no Umi, which translates loosely as Sea of the Devil. For seafarers, the name was not a metaphor but a warning. Ships that strayed too far into its waters were said to encounter storms that came without warning, or monsters that rose from the depths. These tales painted the triangle as a place outside the normal rules of nature, where human skill was no match for supernatural forces. Central to the folklore were dragons, powerful mythical creatures deeply rooted in Japanese culture. Unlike the fire-breathing dragons of Western tradition, Japanese dragons were often associated with water, storms, and the sea itself. They were seen as both protectors and destroyers, capable of bringing rain and prosperity, but also of unleashing floods and whirlpools. In the stories tied to the triangle, dragons were said to live beneath the waves, rising suddenly to strike ships or pull them into the depths. The name Dragon's Triangle reflects this cultural imagery, blending maritime danger with mythological presence. Beyond dragons, other supernatural beings were also linked to the region. Folklore tells of yokai, or spirits, who could lure sailors off course or confuse their senses. Strange lights over the water, eerie noises in the night, or sudden fogs were interpreted as signs of these spirits at work. For those navigating without modern instruments, such experiences could only be explained through the lens of the supernatural. Fear of angering these forces sometimes led sailors to perform rituals before setting sail, offerings of rice, sake, or prayers for protection from the sea gods. Old Japanese maps reflect this fear in subtle but telling ways. Some maps shaded the area differently, marking it with warnings that advised sailors to steer clear. Others left the space nearly blank, as though to acknowledge that what lay there could not be fully understood or safely charted. In a time when maps were as much symbolic as practical, the emptiness itself spoke volumes. It declared the region a place where knowledge ended and mystery began. Over time, these traditions were woven into Japan's broader maritime culture. Even as navigation improved, the stories endured, passed down in fishing villages and coastal towns. Parents would warn their children about the cursed waters, and sailors would trade tales of encounters with the supernatural. These narratives shaped not just individual choices but collective memory, ensuring that the Dragon's Triangle would remain fixed in the cultural imagination as a place to be feared and respected. What is striking about these ancient accounts is how they echo modern reports. Sudden storms, navigational confusion, unexplained lights all appear both in folklore and in contemporary testimonies. The difference lies in interpretation. Where ancient sailors saw dragons and spirits, modern observers speak of magnetic anomalies or UFOs. Yet the continuity suggests that whatever forces shape this region, whether natural or mysterious, they have left a consistent impression on those who venture into its waters. In this way, ancient maps and folklore do more than preserve superstition. They provide a historical backdrop that enriches the modern mystery, showing us that the Dragon's Triangle has always stood apart as a place of danger and legend. For centuries, it has been a stage where human fear, imagination, and the power of the ocean collide. If the Dragon's Triangle had already been steeped in folklore before the 20th century, it was during the era of World War II that its reputation deepened with chilling new accounts. The Pacific was a central theater of conflict, and Japan's surrounding waters were crowded with warships, submarines, and aircraft. In such a high-stakes environment, countless vessels and planes were lost to battle. Yet, amid the chaos of war, there emerged reports of disappearances that could not be so easily explained, cases where ships and planes simply vanished in or near the waters of the Dragon's Triangle. Japanese naval records, though incomplete due to the destruction at the end of the war, reference incidents of patrol boats and transport vessels that failed to return. Some were assumed to have been sunk by enemy action, yet no wreckage or survivors were ever confirmed. Others vanished under circumstances where no combat was reported. Families waiting at home were left with vague notifications, the words missing at sea offering little comfort and even less clarity. One of the most enduring stories concerns entire squadrons of aircraft that lost contact without clear cause. Pilots reportedly radioed confusion about navigational equipment failing or weather shifting suddenly before silence fell. In a time when radar was still in its infancy and communication depended heavily on radio signals, such disruptions could prove fatal. But the eerie consistency of these accounts, planes vanishing from clear skies or calm waters, added a layer of mystery beyond the ordinary dangers of war. American and Allied forces also reported anomalies. Submarines operating in the Pacific occasionally logged unusual sonar readings or unexplained mechanical malfunctions. Though wartime secrecy and the fog of battle make it difficult to separate fact from rumor, some records hint at vessels that vanished without enemy engagement. With so much classified or lost during the war, these incidents have since been folded into the broader lore of the Triangle. Skeptics argue that the heavy losses of World War II explain much of the mystery. The Pacific was vast, hostile, and full of peril. Mines, torpedoes, storms, and human error claimed countless lives. Not every wreck could be located, especially when ships sank quickly in deep waters. From this perspective, the Dragon's Triangle's reputation may simply be a reflection of how war magnified the dangers already present. Yet for others, the disappearances remain too frequent and too peculiar to dismiss. Why, they ask, were so many reports centered on this particular stretch of ocean, Why did experienced pilots and sailors speak of navigational chaos or sudden weather changes before they disappeared, and why, even after the war ended, did the vanishings continue in peacetime, reinforcing the region's reputation? The wartime disappearances did more than deepen the mystery. They cemented it into modern consciousness. Before World War II, tales of the Triangle came largely from folklore and civilian accounts. After the war, with military vessels and aircraft added to the list, the legend took on new gravity. No longer could it be brushed aside as simple superstition. If even advanced technology and trained personnel could fall victim, then perhaps something truly unusual lay hidden beneath the waves. Today, historians view the wartime records as both a tragedy and a puzzle. They remind us of the countless lives lost in conflict and the dangers faced by those who ventured into uncertain seas. At the same time, they contribute to the aura of the Dragon's Triangle, a place where history, myth, and mystery converge, leaving questions that remain unanswered even 8 decades later. Mysteries are rarely confined to the sea. They ripple outward, shaping culture, inspiring stories, and sparking the imagination of generations. The Dragon's Triangle is no exception. Beyond its reputation as a treacherous stretch of ocean, it has become a cultural symbol, a blend of folklore, history, and modern fascination that continues to capture the Japanese imagination and, increasingly, the world's attention. In Japanese folklore, the Dragon's Triangle is often intertwined with older tales of sea spirits, yokai, and divine punishment. These stories gave voice to the fears of sailors who faced an unpredictable ocean. Families passed down cautionary tales, warning young fishermen not to sail too far lest they disturb the dragons of the deep. Such legends were not just entertainment. They were survival tools, embedding respect for the sea in cultural memory. Even today, some coastal communities tell stories about cursed waters and restless spirits, ensuring that the legend is never forgotten. As Japan entered the modern age, the triangle's image evolved. In the 20th century, newspapers and magazines began publishing accounts of disappearances, fueling public intrigue. Stories of missing ships or aircraft were often dramatized, turning real-life tragedies into sensational headlines. For readers, the Dragon's Triangle became more than a geographical location. It was a stage for mystery and suspense, a real-world counterpart to the ghost stories they already knew. The fascination soon extended into books. Authors eager to explore unexplained phenomena drew comparisons between the Dragon's Triangle and the Bermuda Triangle, branding them as mysterious twins on opposite sides of the globe. In Japan, works of both fiction and non-fiction highlighted the triangle as a site of intrigue, blending scientific speculation with supernatural theories. Western writers also adopted the legend, presenting it to international audiences as part of the global catalog of unsolved mysteries. The rise of film and television only amplified the effect. Documentaries featured the Dragon's Triangle alongside other famous mysteries, often presenting it with dramatic visuals and suspenseful narration. Japanese television explored the subject through investigative specials, sometimes interviewing fishermen or retired sailors who had harrowing stories to tell. International productions, especially in the 1970s and 1980s, began linking the triangle to UFOs, lost civilizations, and paranormal forces. While critics accused these shows of exaggeration, the cultural impact was undeniable. They brought the Dragon's Triangle into living rooms around the world. Popular culture also found creative ways to use the triangle. Manga and anime occasionally referenced it as a setting for supernatural events, lost expeditions, or encounters with mythical creatures. Novels wove it into plots about hidden worlds or secret technologies. Even video games have borrowed its legend, presenting it as a zone of danger or adventure. In each case, the Dragon's Triangle serves not only as a location but as a symbol of the unknown, a narrative device that adds tension and mystery. What makes the cultural impact particularly enduring is the way it bridges generations. For the older generation, it recalls folklore and wartime tragedies. For younger audiences, it connects to documentaries, internet theories, and pop culture references. The result is a shared symbol of mystery that transcends age, geography, and even belief. Whether one views the triangle as myth, science, or entertainment, it remains an irresistible subject of conversation. Ultimately, the Dragon's Triangle has grown beyond its geographical boundaries. It is no longer just a patch of water near Japan but a cultural phenomenon that blends legend, tragedy, and imagination. It speaks to something deeply human: the need to make sense of the unknown, to find meaning in the mysteries that surround us. And as long as stories continue to be told, the triangle will remain alive in the collective imagination. A reminder that not all parts of the world can be neatly explained. Whenever people speak of the Dragon's Triangle, comparisons with the Bermuda Triangle are almost inevitable. These two regions, though located on opposite sides of the globe, share an uncanny reputation: stretches of ocean where ships and aircraft have disappeared under mysterious circumstances, where navigational equipment seems unreliable, and where folklore blends seamlessly with science and speculation. Because of these similarities, the Dragon's Triangle is often referred to as the Pacific twin of the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle, located in the western Atlantic Ocean between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, became world-famous in the mid-20th century. Reports of vanished flights and lost ships dominated headlines, sparking books, documentaries, and endless debate. By the time its legend spread worldwide, the Dragon's Triangle was already building a parallel reputation in Asia. For writers and researchers, the comparison was irresistible: two mysterious zones, each with stories of disappearances and strange phenomena, mirroring one another across the world's two great oceans. At first glance, the parallels are striking. Both regions are marked by frequent storms and unpredictable weather. Both are heavily traveled by ships and aircraft, increasing the likelihood of accidents. Both have been linked to magnetic anomalies that could disrupt navigation. And in both, folklore and mythology play an important role, while the Bermuda Triangle is sometimes tied to theories about Atlantis or alien abductions. The Dragon's Triangle draws upon centuries-old Japanese legends of dragons and sea spirits. Yet, there are also important differences. The Bermuda Triangle gained massive international attention during the Cold War, largely through Western media, while the Dragon's Triangle remained more regionally known until the later 20th century. This difference in publicity explains why most people worldwide immediately recognize the Bermuda Triangle, but may never have heard of its Pacific counterpart. Another distinction lies in their cultural roots. The Bermuda Triangle's myths are relatively modern, fueled by aviation disasters and post-war sensationalism. The Dragon's Triangle, on the other hand, has a much older folkloric foundation, tied deeply to Japanese maritime culture and spiritual beliefs. Interestingly, the two triangles also differ in their geological environments. The Bermuda Triangle is located in a relatively stable part of the Atlantic, where theories often focus on human error, storms, or methane hydrates beneath the sea floor. The Dragon's Triangle, however, lies within the volatile Ring of Fire, one of the most geologically active regions in the world. Here, undersea volcanoes, earthquakes, and powerful currents provide natural explanations that are scientifically more compelling, even if they do not solve every mystery. Still, the symbolic connection between the two regions persists. For many, they represent the great mysteries of the oceans, reminders that despite centuries of exploration, large parts of our planet remain beyond our full understanding. They are twin portals into the unknown, one in the Atlantic, the other in the Pacific. Both stand as cultural touchstones, inspiring curiosity, speculation, and countless stories across books, television, and film. In popular imagination, the Dragon's Triangle and the Bermuda Triangle form a kind of global mythology. If one could draw a line across the Earth, they would almost seem to balance each other out, two mysterious corners of the world's waters, keeping humankind humble in the face of nature's vastness. Some enthusiasts even suggest that the two are somehow connected, part of a worldwide network of vortex points where Earth's natural forces converge in extraordinary ways. While science has found no evidence for such theories, the allure of linking these two mysteries together is powerful. Ultimately, the comparison with the Bermuda Triangle enhances the legend of the Dragon's Triangle. It allows us to place it in a larger context, not just as a Japanese maritime mystery but as part of a global pattern of unexplained phenomena. By standing beside its Atlantic twin, the Dragon's Triangle becomes more than a local legend. It becomes part of humanity's shared fascination with the sea, with the unknown, and with the mysteries that continue to resist explanation. For every mystery, there are those who seek a rational explanation. The Dragon's Triangle, though surrounded by legends of dragons, spirits, and even UFOs, has also been the focus of serious scientific study. Many researchers argue that what appears mysterious may in fact be the result of natural processes, complex, powerful, and sometimes deadly, that occur in this volatile part of the Pacific Ocean. One of the leading scientific explanations involves underwater volcanoes. The Dragon's Triangle lies directly within the Pacific Ring of Fire, an immense zone of tectonic activity stretching around the ocean basin. Beneath the waters near Japan, volcanic mountains rise unseen from the ocean floor. Some are dormant, others are active, and still others erupt with little warning. A sudden underwater eruption can release immense energy, generating shock waves, tsunamis, or violent turbulence at the surface. A ship caught in such conditions could easily sink, often so quickly that no distress call could be sent. Over time, these submerged volcanoes shift the seafloor landscape, creating unpredictable hazards for navigation. Closely tied to this volcanic activity are earthquakes. Japan is one of the most seismically active countries on Earth, experiencing thousands of tremors every year. Many of these quakes occur offshore, directly within or near the area known as the Dragon's Triangle. Earthquakes can trigger massive waves or destabilize vessels, leading to accidents. They can also dislodge undersea sediments, producing sudden landslides that alter currents and release trapped gases. For a ship or submarine in the wrong place at the wrong time, such events could prove catastrophic. One particularly intriguing theory involves methane hydrate deposits beneath the seafloor. These frozen forms of natural gas are found in many parts of the ocean. But in active geological regions like the Dragon's Triangle, they may be unstable. If disturbed by seismic or volcanic activity, methane hydrates can rapidly decompose, releasing large quantities of gas into the water. This sudden release can decrease water density, causing ships to lose buoyancy and sink almost instantly. For aircraft, methane released into the atmosphere could disrupt engines or instruments, though this remains more speculative. The methane theory has also been applied to the Bermuda Triangle, suggesting a possible natural connection between the two mysterious regions. Oceanographic conditions further complicate the picture. The Kuroshio Current, often called the Black Stream, flows through this region with tremendous speed and force. When combined with shifting weather patterns, typhoons, and rogue waves, the current can create highly dangerous conditions. Ships disabled by storms may be dragged far from their last known positions, making recovery of wreckage nearly impossible. Similarly, aircraft forced to ditch at sea would quickly vanish beneath the waves, their remains scattered by powerful currents. Critics of the supernatural view emphasize that the Dragon's Triangle is not uniquely dangerous compared to other high-risk maritime zones. They argue that its reputation has been amplified by cultural storytelling and selective attention, while in reality, its disappearances can be explained by the same natural hazards faced throughout the Pacific. Indeed, many scientists point out that with so much tectonic, volcanic, and meteorological activity, it would be stranger if the region did not experience unusual incidents. Still, while these explanations are compelling, they do not close the case entirely. For families who lost loved ones, knowing that a volcanic eruption or methane release might be responsible offers little comfort without concrete evidence. And for storytellers and believers in the extraordinary, the presence of rational theories only adds to the allure, because if so many natural dangers already exist, what might still remain unexplained? In the end, the scientific perspective reframes the Dragon's Triangle not as a supernatural anomaly but as a vivid example of Earth's raw power. It reminds us that the ocean is far from tame, that beneath its surface lies a restless world of shifting plates, erupting volcanoes, and hidden forces. Whether or not these forces account for every disappearance, they are a powerful testament to the dangers of venturing into the deep. As the legend of the Dragon's Triangle grew, so too did the desire to solve it. Scientists, explorers, and even governments have sent expeditions into these waters in search of answers. Armed with sonar equipment, submarines, and modern research vessels, they hope to uncover evidence that would confirm or dispel the mystery once and for all. Yet despite decades of effort, the results remain inconclusive, leaving the legend alive and well. In the mid-20th century, when stories of the Bermuda Triangle were gaining global attention, Japan and other nations began to take a closer look at their own mysterious waters. Research expeditions were organized to study the seafloor, measure magnetic anomalies, and track ocean currents. Early surveys revealed what scientists already suspected: the area is filled with undersea volcanoes, deep trenches, and shifting tectonic plates. These discoveries supported natural explanations for many disappearances but did not explain the total lack of wreckage in so many cases. One particularly well-known expedition was led by the Japanese government in the 1950s. During this mission, several vessels entered the triangle to conduct geological studies. Reports claimed that one ship, the Keo Maru no. 5, carrying over 30 crew members and researchers, vanished without a trace while studying volcanic activity in the region. The loss of the vessel shocked the nation and added fuel to the triangle's reputation. While skeptics argued that a sudden volcanic eruption was the likely cause, the lack of survivors or wreckage deepened the sense of mystery. Later expeditions, equipped with more advanced technology, attempted to map the seafloor in detail. They confirmed the presence of unstable geological formations, methane hydrate deposits, and strong currents. Submersibles recorded eruptions of gas bubbles and detected unusual magnetic variations in certain zones. While these findings provided scientific backing for theories about natural dangers, none were able to tie directly to the specific vanishings that had given the triangle its name. International teams also took interest. American, Russian, and European researchers occasionally included the Dragon's Triangle in broader studies of ocean anomalies. Documentaries filmed in the late 20th century often featured expeditions venturing into the triangle with dramatic flair, promising to reveal the truth. Yet, time and again, the conclusion was the same: the region is hazardous and unpredictable, but no definitive evidence exists of anything beyond natural forces. What makes these investigations so intriguing is not only what they found but what they did not. Despite advances in deep-sea exploration, little physical evidence of lost ships or planes has been recovered. This absence keeps the mystery alive. If wrecks are there, they lie hidden in the depths of some of the world's most challenging underwater terrain trenches that drop thousands of meters. Volcanic slopes, and shifting seabeds that bury evidence beneath layers of sediment. Skeptics point out that the lack of wreckage is not unique to the Dragon's Triangle. The deep ocean swallows countless vessels worldwide, many of which may never be found. But for believers, the persistence of unanswered questions suggests that something unusual may indeed be happening in these waters. In the end, the expeditions and investigations achieved two things: they provided scientific explanations for many of the dangers in the region, and they added to the mythology by failing to fully resolve the mystery. Each attempt to shed light on the Dragon's Triangle seems to reinforce its enigmatic nature, as if the ocean itself resists giving up its secrets. For now, the investigations remain open-ended. Science has given us fragments of the truth: magnetic anomalies, methane releases, volcanic eruptions, but no final piece of evidence to close the case. And so, the Dragon's Triangle continues to straddle the line between legend and reality, a place where exploration deepens the questions rather than answering them. The story of the Dragon's Triangle leaves us with one undeniable truth: it remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the sea. Despite centuries of folklore, decades of scientific exploration, and countless theories, the region continues to exist in a space where fact and legend intertwine. It is at once a natural hazard zone defined by geology and weather, and a cultural phenomenon that thrives on the unknown. This dual identity is what makes the Dragon's Triangle so enduring. On the one hand, science provides plausible answers. The Pacific's Ring of Fire ensures that earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and methane gas releases are not rare but expected. Ocean currents such as the Kuroshio make navigation treacherous, while sudden storms remind us of the sea's raw power. From this perspective, the Triangle is not uniquely mysterious. It is simply one of many places on Earth where natural forces converge to create dangerous conditions. To researchers, it stands as a reminder that the ocean is still a frontier filled with risks we have not fully mastered. And yet, the legend persists. The disappearances without wreckage, the reports of lights in the sky, the testimonies of compasses spinning wildly, these details resist neat categorization. They linger in memory and imagination, raising questions that science cannot easily silence. Could there be forces at work that we do not yet understand? Could the Triangle be more than just geology and weather? These questions invite wonder. And it is this sense of wonder that keeps the mystery alive in popular culture. The Dragon's Triangle also reflects something deeply human: our need to tell stories about the unknown. For centuries, people have explained mysteries through folklore, weaving dragons, spirits, and curses into the narrative. In modern times, the same impulse drives speculation about UFOs, portals, and interdimensional travel. While the symbols change, the purpose is the same: to transform uncertainty into meaning, to give shape to the unexplainable. In this way, the Triangle is as much a mirror of human imagination as it is a place on the map. What makes the Dragon's Triangle particularly fascinating is its universality. It is not just a Japanese legend or a local danger zone, it is a global symbol of the unexplained, often spoken of in the same breath as the Bermuda Triangle, Atlantis, or other great mysteries of the deep. Documentaries, novels, films, and even video games continue to use it as a backdrop for suspense and adventure. To this day, the phrase Dragon's Triangle conjures images of vanishing ships, eerie skies, and unseen forces waiting beneath the waves. Ultimately, perhaps the power of the Dragon's Triangle lies not in what we know but in what we do not. In an age of satellites, sonar, and instant communication, there are few places left on Earth that resist explanation. The triangle reminds us that mystery still exists, that not every question has an answer, and that the sea remains vast and humbling. It challenges our confidence in science while fueling our imagination with possibilities both rational and extraordinary. For some, the Dragon's Triangle is a warning, a place where nature's fury is concentrated, demanding respect from those who dare to enter. For others, it is an invitation to dream, to speculate, to wonder what secrets might still be hiding just beyond our reach. Either way, it holds a unique place in our collective imagination, a timeless reminder that, even in the modern world, the ocean still keeps its secrets. And so, the Dragon's Triangle remains unsolved. A place where waves crash, storms gather, and legends thrive. A place where the boundary between reality and myth dissolves, leaving us with awe, curiosity, and a lingering question: what truly lies within those waters? Until the sea itself chooses to answer, the Dragon's Triangle will continue to stand as one of Earth's most enduring mysteries. As we reach the end of our journey into the Dragon's Triangle, one thing becomes clear: this mysterious region is far more than just a stretch of ocean. It is a crossroads where history, science, folklore, and imagination all collide. From ancient Japanese maps warning of cursed waters, to wartime disappearances, to modern theories about magnetic anomalies and even UFOs, the triangle continues to resist simple answers. Perhaps that is its greatest power. The Dragon's Triangle reminds us that, even in a world mapped by satellites and explored by technology, mystery still survives. It humbles us before the vastness of the sea and stirs our curiosity about what lies beyond our current understanding. Whether you believe in natural explanations, supernatural forces, or something in between, the triangle keeps the conversation alive, challenging us to wonder, to question, and to imagine. So, the next time you look at a map of the Pacific Ocean, remember that there are still places where human knowledge falters, places where myths are born and mysteries endure. The Dragon's Triangle is not just a legend or a scientific puzzle. It is a reminder of our endless quest to uncover the unknown. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into one of the ocean's most enduring enigmas. If you enjoyed this journey, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the Dragon's Triangle is just a dangerous patch of sea or something far more mysterious? I would love to hear your take. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, the world is full of mysteries waiting to be explored. See you in the next story.